Good evening, welcome to a special edition of CopaLoadofRacing, where we're going to look at the York Ebor Festival, which gets underway tomorrow. 4 cracking days of action on the Knavesmire, culminating of course with the Ebor handicap, one of the stellar handicaps of the year. And before that we have the likes of the Juddmonte International tomorrow. There's also the Yorkshire Oaks on Thursday, and then on Friday the Speedsters get their chance in the Nunthorpe over 5 furlongs, always one of the great Group 1 sprint races of the season. And of course the Ebor on Saturday. We'll get to those, the likes of the Ebor, later on in the week, but let's look at the first 2 days of actions. Decks are out for that, so it's a good chance for us to look and mull over the action. Apart from those big races that I've just mentioned, a lot of great support races all across the 4 days, and it gets underway tomorrow with a 5.5 furlong sprint handicap. A lot of familiar faces in this 155, and at this time of the season you can start to really get a grip on some of these sprinters and see where they're coming from. Now the race at the Shergar Cup, the 5 furlong race they had there, is certainly made Tis Marvellous the favourite here at the moment, and it run very well to win that, beating Gracious John into second, and really had the measure of the field come the last half furlong or so. Clive Cox has always felt a lot about this horse. He really does think that it can go into bigger and better things. He's had to bide his time with the horse. He's gone up £5 for that victory at Ascot. If it has that class that Clive suspects that it has, then that £5 rise shouldn't really be a major problem. But this is a bigger field handicap, a lot more chances of, in this field compared to the rivals that he met down at Ascot. Gracious John, I thought, ran really well under Fran Berry at Ascot that day. I actually thought I'd backed him. I put him up in the vlog that week. Does a lot of its running on the all weather during the winter. I said a couple of weeks ago that big field handicaps might not be its speciality, but at this time of the season, when you've got with this horse, if it's in good heart, which it showed that it was at Ascot, then you really have to go for these races. You can't hang around waiting for another smaller field handicap. It's one it's not to say that I'm completely dismissing it, of course not. It's one at Newbury in a decent size field, and has got some form on the turf, and is at a decent mark on the turf compared to on the all weather. So has to be given a chance in this race. I think it's PJ McDonald. Is it PJ McDonald takes a ride on this one? But certainly can prove to maybe get the better of Tis Marvellous. We shall see, but around about 12s I think it might be worth an each way punt, particularly with some of those betting firms out there that will be offering 5 places, so shop around for that if you're going to go for an each way punt in this race. Another horse that I'll flag up is Eastern Impact, who hasn't really shown much form of late, granted. So Richard Fahey has went with the headgear, with the blinkers for the first time. Might prove to be, is he looking for something that you're searching around in the dark a little here, hoping that this will make a difference. But Fahey's record with horses first time blinkers is not too bad, so it certainly is worth noting Eastern Impact at a bigger price, and the Fahey team will be going to York. It's one of their big meetings of the season. Of course, they'll be targeting this meeting, and their stable seems to be in pretty good form at that. So Tis Marvellous certainly respected as favourite, but I think Gracious John and Eastern Impact at each way value there in that race. And as I say, remember, shop around for those extra places. Now the 225 is the Acomb over the 7 furlongs for 2-year-olds. Now Walton comes into this race in good heart after that victory at Glorious Goodwood. for the Hannon team. Persian Moon's in there for Mark Johnson, of course. Would be ironic if he gets that victory today in that race. He certainly, Persian Moon is progressing in the right side of in the right way. Looks to be getting more and more impressive after its initial 2 victories. Persian Moon, and has won at York, which in some respects, some people, Mark Johnson has flagged up a couple of times that he thinks York's not the best place at times for his horses to perform, but Persian Moon's done very well for him, and I think he could certainly put it to Walton. A couple of other ones that I would note: Phoenix of Spain, who won easily at Wolverhampton last time out. Prior to that, ran very well at Sandown under Jamie Spencer, who takes a ride again tomorrow. Was placed out the back but ran on really, really strongly at the end, and that after that victory at Wolverhampton, okay, he's not beat much at Wolverhampton, so it's still, you're looking for improvement there. He's taken on some horses that have proved in higher class, the likes of Walton and Persian Moon, but certainly Phoenix of Spain has some, can be noted. I think there's been a bit of money for it. It's come in to about 11-2 tonight. Ventura Ocean won a novice race at Pontefract. Drifted a little in the straight at Ponty. Didn't beat much. Well, we don't really know when it beat at Pontefract, to be honest. But it's 2-year-olds, that they have to go somewhere, and I think the Fahey team think a lot about this horse. So be interesting to see if there's any more money for that tomorrow morning. As I say, a lot of the connections for Fahey will be certainly around the Knavesmire over the next over the rest of the week. And Ventura Ocean certainly can't be ruled out. It's a very close-knit race. Walton's deserved favourite. Persian Moon has a lot of good form in there, and it really is one of those ones where any of the field certainly has a sneak of a chance. There's no bang outsiders that I would say, or put a line through that one. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a bigger price winner in this race. But if I was to really say, right, if I was to put my money down, I would maybe go with Persian Moon in the 225. Now the 3 o'clock is a right, the Great Voltigeur race. Now Cross Counter comes into this race after a fantastic performance at Goodwood in the Group 3 race there a few weeks ago. Really times, across the field, I think everybody agrees that it was a really marked up performance for this horse. Beat DXB, who had its own issues since its run at Epsom in the Derby. Hadn't run well since then, but I think it's fair to say that DXB did run a lot better at Goodwood, that's for sure. But Cross Counter was all over him, and won it really, really impressively. Kew Gardens comes in to take him on in this one, having won a Group 1 in France. It's starting to progress. There was meant to run in the King George, but Aidan O'Brien didn't seem to be too happy with the horse at that time, so we're now seeing it here in this race. But I fancy Cross Counter pretty heavily in that 3 o'clock, I have to say. The 3:35 is the big race of the day. It's the Group 1 Juddmonte International, and you have a real array of great horses here. You've got Poet's World, you've got Roaring Lion, Saxon Warrior, you've got Thunder Snow, and Without Parole, to name but a few. You have the winner of that King George, that cracking race that it turned out to be, stepping back in trip, but that many feel that this is actually its 10 furlongs is really its best trip actually. So that wouldn't be a negative at all. Saxon Warrior still looking to reclaim that form, all that confidence going into Epsom after it winning it at the Guineas. Thunderstone, the Dubai Cup winner, World Cup winner. But I Without Parole didn't run its race at Goodwood. The race wasn't run to suit. Very disappointing. But prior to that, I really did like this horse. Frankie Dettori takes a ride tomorrow, and I just think that you know, as far as I'm concerned, you can draw a line through that run at Goodwood. Um, and I think it can return to some of that form that it showed prior to that at the likes of Ascot and so forth. So I really do fancy Without Parole tomorrow at a bigger price. If you want to back each way, then yeah, by all means go for it. But Postword is a real good horse. There's no doubt about that. Impressive King George winner, beating its stablemate in a brilliant finish. They'll pull well clear of the rest of the field. As I say, 10 furlongs is right up in street as well. But I think if there was a horse to cause an upset in there, Without Parole certainly could be that one. 4:15, a bit of Scottish interest, and I think will run well for Ian Jardine is Bedrock. Going back onto the flat, had a really decent run over at Galway in a hurdle race, finishing fourth there in a big field. So seems to be in good heart. Coming back onto the flat, and I think around about 12-1 Bedrock could run a big race there for Ian Jardine in that race. And in the final race of 4:50 there, Clive Cox has Dark Shadow in this race, this 2-year-old sprint race. Dark Shadow certainly could run really well for Clive Cox here. Ginger Nut's another one who won the big sprint race at Newbury back a few weeks back at a big price, and has kept in good heart since then. So seems to enjoy these big fields, and will have no problem again here at York. So Ginger Nut at a decent price still, considering it's in really good form, cannot be ruled out. But I like this Dark Shadow for Clive Cox as well. So maybe 2 each way punts on that one tomorrow. Right, looking ahead to Thursday, and I'll fly through what I've got looking at. I think it could be a really good start for Richard Fahey team. The first 2 races on Thursday. 155 Flawless Jewel. I think having won at Ponty back last month, I think it's worth an each way punt here. Flawless Jewel in the 155. The 225, more confidence behind Kodiana. This horse ran at Deauville last time out, but prior to that had won at York. So likes York, likes the surrounding. Ran a decent race over in Deauville, but back at York, I think Kodiana could get off to a good start for the Fahey team. In the 3 o'clock, we have a 7 furlong handicap. Get Naughty just loves an Aesmire. We all know that. Just when you think it's not going to, like I did the last time out, no, I've backed it. It's always good runner up, and then bang, wins, like it did last time out. Callum Rodriguez takes the ride, so gets £3 off, which could be a valuable £3. And Callum Rodriguez is a cracking jockey at the moment, in brilliant form. So it certainly cannot rule him out. Another one that I would look at is the David O'Meara horse at the bottom of the weights. In that one, I'll look at that one. It was finished behind Masham Star at Red Card last time out. Is it Blakely? I think that has a chance. I'll double check that one. My writing is absolutely shocking. Sometimes I scribble things down and then I remember it. But the David O'Meara horse, Blakely, I'm sure it's called, at the bottom of near the bottom of the handicap, but ran really well at Red Card last time out and behind Masham Star, and could come into this in good form. The big race, the 335. I'm going to go with the French Derby winner, the Prix Diane winner, Lawrence for PJ McDonald and Carl Burke. Has won its last 2 Group 1s over at Longchamp and then following that up at Chantilly. It's had a break since then, so be interesting to see how he comes into this race. But I've always liked this horse, and there's, I'm still very positive about it going forward. So Lawrence for me in the 335. And the 415, it's Latidar is going to be a short price favourite. Sun Maiden, I think it's next best in beating. That was well behind Cross Counter at Goodwood. I can't really see past Latidar, to be honest, extending his unbeaten record. 450, now the last race here on the card, a wee punt on this Franco filly, Betty F for Jeremy Nacida. Won a slowly run affair at Doncaster back in July, and then probably found it a bit too tough in better company at Goodwood last time out. So dropping back into handicap company, I think could see this horse benefiting from it. Be interesting if part of the race how it works out, but I think Frankie Dettori takes a ride for Nacida, Jeremy Nacida, so is well worth a wee nibble at, I think. Betty F. Right, that is the first 2 days of the action on the Naves Mire for us there. Friday's action also to look into as well. Probably I'll maybe do a vlog, a wee mini vlog as such on Thursday night looking at Friday's action. Maybe it could possibly just do the whole big vlog on Thursday night, because we'll have the decks through for Saturday as well, for Ebor Day. Now, in terms of a Scottish angle on the Ebor, Jim Goldie has, Sir Chauvelin going for that race, and I mentioned this last week. Sir Chauvelin needs a few horses to come out. We did say a few weeks ago after its victory at Goodwood that it still maybe it would try and go to the Ebor, and it'll obviously take its chance there, but it needs a few to drop out before it gets into it. And I think the way Jim was indicating today, he's not confident that that's going to happen. So he's actually entered the horse into the Lonsdale Cup to take on Stradivarius, which it's going to be a tough ask, but he knows himself that if he does run a blinder in that race, then the handicapper's going to punish him, and then I think he's entered him into the Cesarovic and also into the Champions Day Stayers race at Ascot in October. So we'll see how things pan out. I think you would love to get him into the Ebor, sneaking in there at the bottom. Would be an interesting one, but if not, then we're very likely to see him running the Lonsdale Cup if that option of getting into the Ebor doesn't materialise, which of course the Lonsdale Cup is it on the Friday? I think it is on the Friday, but we shall see with that one. But best of luck to Jim. I think he's also sending down Nicholas T. He's hoping that horse will get a run there as well, and the Glasgow Warrior, he'll try and get into one of the handicaps over, I think he's looking at one of the races over 12 furlongs if he can. Right, that's it from me for this vlog. As I say, probably maybe come back Thursday night with a bigger vlog for the Friday action and looking at Saturday's action as well. But enjoy the Ebor meeting. CopaLoadofRacing.